It feels kind of weird to say it out loud, but it's officially been 1 year since I moved to Sweden. An entire year of learning, missing things, loving things, and slowly building a new life from scratch. I think often when people move abroad, there's this idea that everything will just fall into place. New country, fresh start, better life. And while some parts really have been amazing, other parts have been way harder than I expected. So this video is not going to be a highlight reel of the past year, but rather a kind of reflection. For me, and maybe for anyone else who's thinking of moving abroad. So here we are 1 year later. I still cannot believe that it's been a year already. And is it just me, or did 2025 pass like this? To be fully honest, 2025 hasn't been my year, and I am not too sad that it's over. It's definitely been quite a transformational year, and I have questioned some of my choices many times. So I also wanted to share some of the struggles that I've been going through this year with you. But perhaps to lay a bit of a background for you if you're new here or you haven't been following me for so long. I am originally from Germany, and I bought my house here in the countryside back in summer 23. At that time I was still working a normal job in Germany that I could also do remotely. So I basically split my time a little bit, where, you know, I spent like 2 months in Germany, then I came here for a month, etc. And I did this for around 1.5 years. But at some point I just got so tired of doing this and feeling like I'm basically just living half lives all the time. So I decided to make a change, and I quit and decided to move here in the end of 2024. Overall, I think since I had already had my house for quite some time at that point, and I already explored the area around, the move kind of felt really natural to me, and I was already acquainted with most of the things in the house and also in the area. But I know that this step can definitely feel a lot more overwhelming in the beginning when everything is just completely new to you. I have been through this myself a couple of times, as I have moved quite a bit around when I was, well, younger. I'm not that old, but a couple of years ago. And it definitely is always a bit of a struggle in the beginning. But generally the whole process of registering here in Sweden went really smooth, and I received my Swedish personal number within less than a month. And I received many messages of people that were saying that I'm probably the only person who would ever get excited about receiving a letter from Skatteverket. And that might be true, but hey, if you are a foreigner who moved to Sweden, you just know how important and essential this step is to become a person here. There are 2 things that people often struggle with when they move to Sweden, and that is 1, the language, and 2, to meet people and to build a social life here. Luckily, those are 2 things that I didn't struggle with at all. I already knew Swedish before I moved here, and this was also very, very important to me, as I find it very essential to master the language before you are moving somewhere. So this was something where I put a lot of focus on from the beginning, and I constantly also try to push myself to learn more and improve further. I've actually thought about also making some vlogs in Swedish from time to time, just to push myself a little bit more out of my comfort zone occasionally. So I would also be curious to know in the comments maybe if this would be something you would even be interested in watching, and if I should do that. But yeah, I'm definitely thinking about it. And also socially, I made some efforts to meet new people, as this unfortunately isn't something that just happens automatically overnight. I started a part-time course in herbal medicine here at the community college, I think that's how you call it, which is actually all in Swedish, and I am the only foreigner in that course. And I have met so many lovely people through that course, and I really enjoy what I'm doing there, and it just gives me so much inspiration, so I'm really happy to be a part of this as well. And I also became a part of our local town group, if we can call it like this, where we basically organize little get-togethers once a month for everyone here in town to just hang out together, get to know each other better, etc. And we also try to attract new people to come here to our little town. And yeah, thanks to this I also got in touch with a lot of people from the local community here, and that has been very, very nice as well. And just recently in December we also organized this little Christmas get-together where we were doing some Christmas baking and crafting, and it was just so cozy and so nice to hang out with everyone. And I think it's such a nice initiative to just do those things, so you make sure that there is a bit of social life also in like the small town. And as I find social media to be such a powerful tool to meet and connect with people, I also recently had the idea to set up regular meetups for people here in Västernorrland to just meet up and connect with each other. And our first get-together is actually already in 2 weeks now. And I really hope that this is going to be a fun way for people who maybe have moved here or who have lived here all their lives, just to meet some new people who maybe have some shared interests, and that you can just, you know, like get together and find maybe a new friend. And yeah, that would be really nice, because it can be very difficult, especially if you have moved to a new place. And this doesn't only apply to like foreigners, but also if maybe you moved from like the south of Sweden and you don't know many people here. It's so difficult, and it's so important to have people to connect with. So yeah. And also, if you are around and you would like to join us, we are meeting in the end of January. Maybe just drop me a comment and I can just send you some of the details, and you are all very welcome. And then of course I also have my partner, and we spend a lot of time together, so I basically never feel lonely here. And overall, I think it's definitely possible to build a nice social life here, but it doesn't come overnight, and you cannot expect people to come to you. You have to make the effort. And like in any other place, I think the best way to connect is always through shared interests. So I think this is always the best point to start. And one of my goals when moving here was also to build myself my own life, where I can decide things on my own and kind of do things on my own terms, especially on the work front. And you know, where I'm not dependent on anyone or on like a location. And this is definitely something I have started to work on in the past year. But with that also comes the biggest struggle of the last year, and that definitely has to be the financial aspect of things. So when we came here, Jimmy and I both had the dream to kind of build up something on our own, like each their own thing, and then maybe find like a part-time job just to help us with running costs, etc., while we're figuring things out. But the job market in Sweden is insane at the moment. And I think Sweden actually has one of the highest unemployment rates in Europe. And especially in the countryside, there's simply nothing on offer. I think I also read somewhere that actually around 75% of all jobs in Sweden don't actually get advertised, but they rather get promoted through personal connections. The problem is, of course, when you are new to a place, you don't have those connections, so you don't even hear about most of those jobs. So this is very difficult to get into. I at some point decided to no longer look for a job here and fully put all my efforts into my own business. But Jimmy continued on that front, and he sent so many applications, so many, and up to today still hasn't heard anything back. It's even gotten to a point now where he might actually have to return to Denmark to work for some time from there, which is very sad and a bit frustrating for us. I think both of us, we definitely underestimated how incredibly difficult it would be to find something here. And it's not easy. My biggest learning from the past year would definitely be, if you are dependent on a job that cannot be done online or remotely, figure this out before you come here, because otherwise you will most likely struggle, and I have heard that from so many people. So it definitely isn't easy. So for the past year, I've been working on growing my own business within content creation and social media, and I really enjoy what I'm doing, and I can definitely see my efforts are starting to pay off. But it is a very slow process, and I think it will definitely still take some time before I can live off this. But I have a website now and a Patreon. I already worked with some really nice clients and brands, and I also started to make a little bit of money here on YouTube, but it's not so much yet. I think we're usually at like less than 100 euros per month, which helps, of course, and I'm super happy about it, but it will take a bit of time for this to help me make a living. In general, I think in the past year we've just struggled a lot, and it felt a bit more like we were in survival mode most of the time, because things also constantly broke or didn't go according to plan, and when you can see your savings shrink and shrink and stuff keeps breaking and bad stuff happens, it can be really tough. And I feel like bad things always happen when you cannot afford them to happen. And due to the money situation, we also didn't really do so much fun stuff in the last year. Like, I went on some family visits to Denmark and Germany, and I went on a little trip to Lofoten, but only because I knew someone there. Other than that, we spent so incredibly many hours in front of the computers figuring things out. And I know that's always how it is in the beginning, right? When you're trying to make a change in your life and you're trying to build up something new, that is just what you have to expect. But sometimes it can just feel so incredibly tiring, and especially when you're constantly, like, money is constantly on your mind, and figuring out how to make it. I feel like you're constantly in a mode of stress, which is not so fun to be in, because then you feel like you're kind of pausing your life a bit, even though you're not. But I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I've done a lot of really fun and cool things, and also locally here, and went on really nice hikes, etc. But I feel like the last year was just I don't know, it passed so quickly and so slowly at the same time, and it hasn't been my favorite, so I'm really happy it's over. On a positive note though, I am already super excited for this new year, and I know that things are going to be a lot better this year, and that everything will work out in the end. I think it always does, you know. Sometimes you just have to go through a period where things are a bit slower and don't work out the way you want them to. But if you are building your new life, your dream life in brackets, there will always be rocks on the road, and you just have to fight through it, and it will get better. And I know this year will be great. I already have something really exciting planned, and I already look very much forward to be able to tell you more about it, which I can hopefully do soon. But yeah, I just know it's gotta be a better year. It can't get much worse than the last year. No, but yeah, I really look forward to this year. It's gonna be a good one. And as mentioned in the beginning, I think so often when we're moving abroad or we're thinking about moving, we just think that our lives will be so different and better once we are in the new place. And I do think that, you know, certain things from your old life will probably have improved and they will be different, But other things you just can't predict and you don't know what is going to happen. So you always just need to keep an open mind and be flexible with things, because you cannot plan everything. There's so many unexpected things that can happen. And also, if you would have asked me 1.5 years ago, I also would have thought that my life now would be very different than what it actually is. And that's perfectly fine. You know, sometimes things take time, and you just need to keep working on your dreams, and you will figure everything out, because I truly believe that in the end everything always falls into place as it should. So, and with that, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend, and I will see you very soon. Bye bye.